Now let us all look at the performance of our economy in 2025. The economy of the Cordillera Administrative Region expanded by 4.4% in 2025, adding 16.51 billion pesos to the region's 2024 economic output of 378.45 billion pesos. However, the region's estimated gross domestic product in 2025 grew at a slower pace compared to the 4.9% growth recorded in the previous year. At constant 2018 prices, the economy of the Cordillera Administrative Region was estimated at 360.90 billion pesos in 2023, grew to 378.45 billion pesos in 2025, and further expanded to 394.96 billion pesos in 2025. I will begin by presenting the highlights of the 2025 Gross Regional Domestic Product, or GRDP, of the Cordillera Administrative Region. The GRDP measures the region's economic performance from the perspective of producers of goods and services. It represents the total value of goods and services produced within the region during the reference period. The economy is comprised of three major industries, namely agriculture, forestry, and fishing, or AFF, industry, and services. Let us first put our attention at the gross value added of agriculture, forestry, and fishing. AFF expanded significantly, rising from 1.3% growth last year to 4.3% this year, the highest growth rate recorded since 2018. So happy ngayon ang taga-DA. Congratulations! Meanwhile, industry posted a 1.7% growth in 2025, a modest improvement compared with the 0.2% growth recorded in the previous year. To complete the picture, services, our biggest industry in the region, continued to grow at 5.3%, slower than the 6.9% growth in the previous year. Of the Cordillera Administrative Region's total GDP of 394.96 billion pesos in 2025. Services accounted for the largest share at 70.0%, equivalent to 276.51 billion pesos. Industry contributed 89.09 billion pesos, while agriculture, forestry, and fishing added 29.36 billion pesos to the region's economic output. Within the services sector, wholesale and retail trade, repair of motor vehicles and motorcycles accounted for the largest share, contributing 25.8% or 71.43 billion pesos. Other top contributors to services in CAR include financial and insurance activities at 17.3%, real estate and ownership of dwellings at 9.7%, accommodation and food service activities at 9.1%, and professional and business services at 9.0%. Moving forward, manufacturing accounted for more than half of the industry sector, with 54.3% share, contributing 48.36 billion pesos. Construction followed, making up 28.2% of the sector's share. The remaining contributions came from mining and quarrying, as well as electricity, steam, water, and waste management. Furthermore, crops, livestock and poultry, and other animals made up 88.5% of the agriculture, forestry, and fishing sector in the region in 2025. The main driver of the Cordillera's economic growth in 2025 was wholesale and retail trade, repair of motor vehicles and motorcycles, which contributed 0.9 percentage point to the overall 4.4% growth. Trade also held the largest share of the region's economy. Manufacturing, the second largest industry in CAR, followed trade as a growth driver, contributing 0.54 percentage point. Education, one of the fastest growing industries in 2025 with a 9.5% expansion. Likewise, added 0.25 percentage point to the region's economic uptrend. On the other hand, construction, mining, and quarrying pulled down the growth by 0.11 percentage point and 0.06 percentage point respectively. In terms of growth rates, human health and social work activities recorded the fastest increase at 11.9%. Education, as noted earlier, ranked second, while professional and business services followed with a 6.8% rise. As in the previous years, the Cordillera economy was mainly dominated by three industries: wholesale and retail trade, repair of motor vehicles and motorcycle held the largest share at 18.1%. Manufacturing followed with a 12.2% share, while financial and insurance activities with a 12.1% share. Let us now move forward to the highlights of the 2025 Gross Regional Domestic Expenditure, or GRDE, of the Cordillera Administrative Region. GRDE measures the region's economic performance from the perspective of household and institutional spending. It is defined as the total expenditure of residents within the domestic territory, combined with their expenditures in other regions and even in the rest of the world. Almost all expenditure items posted growth, with exports of goods to the rest of the world growing the fastest at 47.8%. This was followed by valuables with 40.5% and durable equipment with 9.3% growth. On the other hand, the declines observed from imports of goods from the rest of the world, 1.7%, and construction, 3.0%, pulled down the growth of the regional economy. In terms of expenditure, The main drivers of the Cordillera's economic growth in 2025 were net exports to the rest of the world, which contributed 6.1 percentage points. Household final consumption expenditure with 3.0 percentage points, and government final consumption expenditure adding 1.1 percentage points. On the other hand, net exports to the rest of the Philippines reduced growth by 5.5 percentage points, while gross capital formation deducted 0.4 percentage point. In terms of expenditure shares, household final consumption expenditure accounted for nearly 3/4 of CAR's economy in 2025, with 71.6%. Government final consumption expenditure followed at 15.5%. Net exports to the rest of the world contributed 12.2%, while gross capital formation made up 12.1% of the total. We now proceed to the discussion on per capita GDP and HFCE in the Cordillera. Per capita GRDP and HFCE are calculated by dividing the region's total gross regional domestic product and household final consumption expenditure by the total population. These indicators reflect the average economic output and household spending per individual in the region. At constant 2018 prices, the per capita GDP of Cordillera stood at 207,589 pesos, a 3.2% increase from the 201,186 recorded in the previous year. In 2025, the per capita household final consumption expenditure of the Cordillera region was estimated at 148,641 pesos. This indicator reflects the average amount spent by an individual resident on goods and services. The 2025 per capita HFCE of CAR rose by 3.0% compared with the 2024 level of 144,259 pesos. At this point, we will now look at how our regional economy fared in comparison with other regions in the country. All regional economies expanded in 2025, with 10 regions posting growth rates faster than the national average of 4.4%. Western Visayas recorded the strongest performance, growing by 6.4%. This was followed by Caraga and the Negros Island region, both registering growth of 5.7%. Meanwhile, Cordillera's economic growth of 4.4% placed 11th nationwide, slightly slower than the national average. This slide presents the structure of regional economies based on the distribution of the three major industries, whether predominantly agricultural, industrial, or services-based. In 2025, the majority of the regions were services-driven, including the Cordillera Administrative Region. Only one region, that is Calabarzon, was primarily industrial-based. Notably, no region in the country was classified as agricultural in 2025. In terms of per capita GRDP across all regions, the National Capital Region posted the highest level at 522,564 pesos. The Cordillera Administrative Region ranked third nationwide with a per capita GDP of 207,589 pesos in 2025. Notably, this figure was higher than the national per capita GDP of 204,005 pesos. The Cordillera's per capita GDP grew by 3.2% in 2025, ranking 14th among all regions. Western Visayas posted the fastest growth in per capita GDP at 5.7%, followed by the Negros Island at 5.3% and Caraga at 4.6%. When comparing per capita HFCE across regions, the Cordillera Administrative Region ranked 4th in 2025. On average, individuals in CAR spent more on final consumption of goods and services than those in most of other regions, trailing only the National Capital Region, Central Luzon, and Calabarzon. Importantly, CAR's per capita HFCE was also higher than the national average, underscoring the relatively stronger households' spending capacity in the region. In 2025, Caraga recorded the fastest growth in per capita HFCE at 5.6%. This was followed by BAR with 4.7% and Western Visayas with 4.6%. Meanwhile, the Cordillera ranked 15th nationwide in terms of per capita HFCE growth. In summary, the Cordillera economy grew by 4.4% in 2025, equivalent to a 16.51 billion peso increment to the GDP of CAR in previous year. We remain to be services-based since 2008. In production side, the three major industries posted growth with services growing the fastest at 5.3%. On the other hand, the main driver of the economy of our region and fastest growing expenditure item was exports of goods to the rest of the world. Finally, the regional per capita GDP was estimated at 207,589 pesos, third highest next to NCR and Northern Mindanao. Meanwhile, the average spending of every Cordilleran on final consumption of goods and services, or HFCE, increased to 148,641 pesos in 2025. Both of these were higher than the national averages. At this point, we would like to extend our utmost gratitude for the continued support of our various data sources who made these regional accounts of the Philippines compilation possible. First, we have the Commission on Audit, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, Department of Agriculture, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Department of Education, Department of Migrant Workers, Department of Energy, Department of Labor and Employment, Department of Tourism, Department of Transportation, Department of Social Welfare and Development, Department of Trade and Industry, Department of Health, Department of Public Works and Highways, Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority, Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, Land Transportation Office, Mines and Geosciences Bureau, National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, National Electrification Administration, National Telecommunications Commission, Provincial Environment and Natural Resources Office, Philippine Postal Corporation, the Philippine Stock Exchange, Philippine Economic Zone Authority, Registry of Deeds, electric cooperatives, water districts, the local government units in the region, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. That concludes my presentation of the 2025 economic performance of the Cordillera Administrative Region. With that, naimbag na agsapa kada tayo amin and agyaman kami ulan. God bless everyone.
And good morning to everyone. Our esteemed members of the media, our partners in regional development, we have here the regional line agencies, the local government units, and the ANCA team. Fellow Cordillerans, ladies and gentlemen, naibag na agsapa tayo amin. We thank the Philippine Statistics Authority for the release of the 2025 Regional Cordillera Gross Regional Domestic Product, or what we call the GRDP, and the Gross Regional Domestic Expenditure, or what we call the GRDE, which are our primary measures of regional economic development. The Cordillera economy grew by 4.4% in 2025, slower than the 4.9% in 2024, and still below our growth target of at least 5.5%. These numbers give us an assessment where our regional economy currently stands, our persistent challenges, and most importantly, demand from us urgent actions moving forward. On the production side, or GRDP, our regional economy growth in 2025 was propelled by growth in all of our major industries. Example, for agriculture, forestry, and fisheries, this grew by 4.3%. For industry, this grew by 1.7%, and for services, by 5.3%. Notably, education services emerged as the fastest growing industry with 11.9% growth rate and ranking as the third highest contributor to GRDP growth rate. The first, of course, is the wholesale and retail, and the second was, ano yung second? Manufacturing, very good. Yes, thank you very much. This can be attributed to the implementation of the expanded career progression system for teachers and school heads in 2025, which reclassified teachers resulting to higher pay grades and implementation of livelihood skills and localized training programs toward boosting workforce readiness. On the expenditure side, more stable prices of goods and services indicated by an annual average inflation rate of 1.2% supported growth in household and government expenditures. Our external exports grew by 30%, making it the top contributor to our expenditure side growth in 2025, enabled by a stable peso per US dollar exchange rate, a robust global demand for semiconductors, for AI, data, centers, electric vehicles, and telecommunications, as well as enabling trade policies. However, the consistent growth slowed down, and our inability to meet our regional growth targets means that such economic growth performance is below optimal, that we could have done more. The numbers trace the slowdown primarily in the negative growth of mining and quarrying, construction, and slower growth in services. The slowdown indicates our persistent development challenges, which constrain us from achieving our targets. Severe weather, such as the Typhoon Uwan, which caused us 8.65 billion in damages, and more than the usual class and work suspensions. Although services remain the main driver of growth, persistent learning deficits, infrastructure gaps, and inequities in access to education and digital connectivity limit improvements in labor productivity and inclusive growth. Externally, the region's dependence on imported production inputs exposes growth to global price volatility and supply chain risks. We must also acknowledge the damage caused by the flood control corruption scandal, which understandably eroded business and consumer confidence, as evidenced by the decline in investments, tempered household consumption, and government expenditure. Previous years' provincial product accounts showed the concentration of output and income in the Baguio Benguet areas, with 70.3% of the region's total output in 2024 coming from the Baguio Benguet area, which risks widening socio-economic disparities. Addressing these structural vulnerabilities through climate resilience, strengthening our production, supply chains, human capital development, efficient infrastructure delivery, and sound governance will be essential to sustaining growth and strengthening CAR's economic resilience. So on promoting climate resilience, we prioritize investments on climate resilient production, diversification toward high-value crops, adoption of smart and green farming technologies, logistics support, and strengthening input supply chains in the Regional Development Investment Program. These include ODA-funded projects such as the Adapting Philippine Agriculture to Climate Change project, deployment of innovative tools for climate-informed decision-making, pest monitoring, and water-efficient irrigation for the agriculture sector. Ongoing infrastructure flagship programs by the national government include the Integrated Flood Resilience and Adaptation Project, or Phase 1, amounting to 20 billion, and the implementation of the Cordillera Rehabilitation and Recovery Programs 2025 to 2027. On strengthening supply chains from input and logistics disruptions, our recommended policies emphasize MSMEs and export competitiveness through digitalization and AI adoption, value chain upgrading, and reduce logistical bottlenecks. Long-term efforts to reduce dependence on imported fuel and intermediate inputs include accelerating renewable energy development through the implementation of the Cordillera Renewable Energy Master Plan 2024 to 2033 and improving regional connectivity. We also sustain our priority industry clusters and diversify into halal, creative industries, as well as new tourism products such as gastronomy and experiential products. Human capital development is positioned as a central growth lever, focused on closing learning gaps, improving teacher support systems, reducing administrative burdens, expanding technical vocational training aligned with priority sectors, and addressing persistent infrastructure and connectivity gaps in education, especially in rural areas, through the Last Mile Schools program and school electrification and ICT upgrades. On the demand side, the strategy underscores protecting household purchasing power through inflation management, targeted social protection and livelihood support, while enhancing inclusive access for marginalized groups to education, skills, training, and economic opportunities. Most importantly, we are taking concrete steps to restore public trust by strengthening governance, tightening accountability, and improving the delivery of public service. These actions are guided by the DepDev Executive Report, making 2026 the rally point to revitalize the PDP implementation, which sets out clear measures to address governance gaps and drive implementation moving forward. Pursuant to Executive Order Number 82, Series of 2025, reinforcing the Regional Development Councils to accelerate socio-economic development across all regions, the RDC CAR is strengthening and alignment from planning and investment programming to budgeting and implementation to monitoring and feedback. Specific undertakings include the push for the integration, harmonization, and utilization of infrastructure plans for infrastructure development. On investment programming and budgeting, the RDC CAR is strengthening regional investment programming and budgeting through the institutionalization of the Agency Regional National Investment Programming, or the RNIP dialogue, where national government agencies are called to prioritize RDC-endorsed programs, projects, and activities in their agency investment programs and annual budgets. The RDC CAR is also supporting the request of the DBM to ensure the inclusion of priority projects, or RNIPAPs, in the National Expenditure Program. As a response to the clamor of LGUs to be consulted on NGA-implemented programs in their localities, we also included local development council endorsements as a requirement for RDC budget endorsements. On monitoring and evaluation, the Regional Project Monitoring Committee, or the RPMC, is focusing on strengthening the local PMCs down to the barangay level through technical assistance and through providing the provinces with the e-regional or electronic regional project monitoring and evaluation system, or ERPMES account for monitoring local projects. Let me close by stating that while these reforms entail tougher rules and short-term costs, they are essential to preventing extractive practices toward inclusive institutions. Ones that protect public funds, strengthen accountability, and build the trust and resilience needed to sustain inclusive growth, as emphasized by Nobel laureates in economic science, Asi Moglo and James Robinson, in their book, Why Nations Fail, The Origins of Power, Prosperity, and Poverty. So, agyaman kami ni Apple, and thank you very much once again.